I do this show every Monday at 4 o'clock Pacific, and I look forward to it. Actually, I love sharing the information about note investing with you guys and watching you learn. You guys reach out to me all the time, telling me how much you enjoy the show and how much you learn about note investing, this awesome space that we call note investing. So I'm looking forward to just sharing today's message with you too. Today I said I'm going to pull back the curtain and demystify note investing. I really want you to get the fact that it's doable. Okay, that's what I'm after today. So again, I want to welcome you guys here. I am Desi Arnaz, professional investor and the host of your show today. I want to tell you guys too that our show today is brought to you by investbrilliantly.com. This is a place where you can go to learn about note investing. Go there. There's a lot of free resources right there on our website at investbrilliantly.com. And you can study it there. You can learn it there. I've got videos there, other information. Also, while you're there on the website, you'll see this screen. That is my homepage when you get there. Okay, and on the homepage, if you wanted to book an appointment to talk to me, I provide free 30-minute consultations just to answer questions. Feel free to just reach out to me right there, just by clicking on that button right there where it says book a free 30-minute consultation. I also have a coaching program, so I just want to tell you guys about that too. Enough about that, though. I want to see who's with us today. Welcome you guys to the show today. I appreciate seeing you here. I see we got our note starter with us today, Note Starter Capital Investments. Welcome, Note Starter. I like that. Note Starter. Good name. Okay. Let's see. What have we been up to? Well, we've been pretty busy out there finding more notes to sell. Our company does provide notes for sale to people that want to invest in them. So that's what we've been doing, looking at a lot of notes, reviewing them, conducting due diligence on them. I want to invite you guys to share today's show on your Facebook page. Click on the share, click on the like button. Please give me some Facebook love. I would totally appreciate it. And if you'll do that, then what that'll do for me is that'll send more people over, because I'm really trying to spread the word about note investing. Okay, that's what the goal is to spread the word about note investing. All right, guys. So I like to start the show this way. You see, a lot of people that come to the note investing for newbies, they don't really understand what note investing is. And so what I'm going to do first is just give you the highlights of what note investing is. And then I'm going to drill down in today's show a little deeper and show you some information that I think will help really clarify it for you. As I said before, I'm going to demystify note investing for you. So what is note investing in general? Note investing is where you take your investment dollars and you use them to buy debt. Yeah, you heard me right. You can buy debt. You see, when people owe money to someone else, the people that are owed the money can actually sell their position. So, for example, let's say you owe money to Bank of America to pay off your mortgage, right? You have a mortgage balance with them, $100,000. Bank of America can sell that mortgage to a different bank. As a matter of fact, if you've ever had a mortgage and then you get a transfer letter from your lender saying, hey, we've transferred your loan from our bank to this other bank, and moving forward, all you need to do is to start paying the new bank. Well, that means that your note, your mortgage and note have been sold. And for those of you that are homeowners, you may have experienced this once or more times, because it's not unusual for a mortgage to be sold multiple times during its life. Most mortgages run about 30 years, right? And for them to be sold multiple times in 30 years is not an unusual scenario whatsoever. So here's all I'm saying is that you or I can be that new lender that accepts the transfer from the existing lender. That's right, we can do that. And for a long time, I didn't know that. As a matter of fact, I had been investing in real estate since 1982, and I didn't find out really about this part until 2013. And there's some reasons behind that. And I go into that on my website about why maybe we didn't hear about this stuff. How could it have been so evasive for us, right? And yet it's reality. I want to welcome Christina Jackson. Hey, just getting started. Good for you, Christina. Glad to see that you're getting started. Here's what I will tell you. The secret to success in note investing is never quit. Just decide this is something you're going to do for the rest of your life. And I can tell you this, I've seen more self-made millionaires in this space than any other space I've been in the last 40 years in the business world. So you can create a quite a nice future for yourself and for your family if you just take this space, learn it, embrace it, and go for it. Okay, it'll change your life in a fantastic way. Okay, so let's see here. As I said, I really would appreciate it if you guys would like and share this, because I'd like to get some more eyeballs on the show, and it gives me an opportunity to just teach more and more people. I'm especially excited about teaching young people about this space. Young people to me is anybody under 50, right? Because I'm old. But anyway, I'm excited because I know that with just 5 years of modest effort, you'll never have to worry about money again. Not even excessive effort. Just 2 years of a push, and you'll never have to worry about money again. But certainly 5 years of modest effort, and it's game over for you. I mean, you don't have to sweat dollars again. You won't ever have to live from paycheck to paycheck. And then you, at that point, in my mind, you have a responsibility to go and share this with someone else, right? Especially the next generation coming up behind you, because they're not being taught this stuff. So once again, I want to welcome some of you guys to our show today. I really do appreciate seeing you come in. Look at this. Free Worlds, only 22 years old, getting started. Holy smokes, Free World. By the time you're 30 years old, forget about it. That's all I can tell you, man. Forget about it. You're going to be set for life. Set for life. That's awesome. And I see that my wife is on. This is Pat Humphreys. That's not her, obviously. Not a cradle robber. That's my granddaughter. Anyway, my wife's on with us today. I'm always happy to see her. She always puts a smile on my face. The love of my life, Pat. All right, guys. So now let me share with you guys today's message, okay? I've got a little PowerPoint that I'm going to turn on to just share with you so that you understand really what note investing is. As I said, today my goal is to pull back the curtain on note investing, and to really show you the behind the scenes kind of thing that you might not be aware of. Okay, so maybe some things you never even thought about as far as note investing goes. So what is note investing, and why is it so popular? That's the title of the show today. What is note investing? And then the subtitle is, why is it so popular? Well, I can tell you this. I've already kind of shared what note investing is where you buy the mortgage on somebody's house, right? But why is it so popular now is because it hasn't been around that long in its current state. Now, don't get me wrong. People have been buying and selling debt for centuries. But what I'm talking about is the ability to buy a mortgage on someone's house here in this country from the bank. That's the part that hasn't been around that long. Mortgages have been traded between lenders and banks since 1938, when the FDIC, I'm sorry, not the FDIC, but when Fannie Mae was created by Congress in order to trade mortgages on the secondary mortgage market. However, it's only been wealthy people that were playing in that space. It's only been since the last recession, the 2007, 8, 9, 10 recession, that the market opened up for the rest of us. If you want to know exactly how that all worked out, go to my website, go to investbrilliantly.com, go to the coaching part there, check out our training program, and in there I tell you the whole story. I went back and did some research. You see the whole story of how it, from 1932 actually, all the way till today, how this opportunity became available to us. And it just wasn't here. It was only for the wealthy, and it was only for large institutions like insurance companies and banks. So what it is now, for you and me, it's just an opportunity. And I mean a great opportunity. And who knows, one day it may go back to just being for the wealthy. So here's what I suggest. Become wealthy, okay? While it's here, become wealthy. If it ever reverts back, you don't have to sweat it because you will be one of those people that's still playing in that space, okay? So let's see here. Let me move on down and show you the rest of my presentation here, if I can find it. All right. All right, so here we go. So notes are the financing side of real estate. That's what notes represent, okay? It's the financing side of real estate. And what do I mean by that? This is the part where money changes hands that is not your own, where you use other people's money. In most cases, you're using some bank's money. If you have cash to buy a piece of real estate, then you don't need a note. There won't be a mortgage involved. Literally, if you have cash to buy a piece of real estate, all you've got to do is give the owner of the real estate your cash, and they're going to give you two things. They're going to give you a deed to the property, and they're going to give you keys. And that's all that there is to it. At that point, you now own that real estate. And I know that if you've ever purchased real estate, you probably say, well, why is there like 1,000 pieces of paper that I have to sign every time I buy a house or an apartment building or whatever? Well, it's because you don't have cash. Okay. If you have cash, it's just not that much paperwork. But if you do have cash, it's pretty simple, it's pretty easy, and it's pretty fast to get a real estate deal done. Okay. I've done cash deals in certainly a week or less pretty easily. All right. But what if you don't have enough cash? And that's where most people fall, right? That's the spot that most people are in. I just don't have enough cash. Like this guy, he says, hey, I'm a little short at this time. Well, I think, buddy, it's because part of your legs are cut off. Anyway, that was my attempt at humor, guys. Okay. So if you don't have enough money, here's your options. You need to borrow some money. Okay. And most of us go to a bank or a mortgage company to borrow the money. Now, when you are going to borrow money for real estate, there's a couple things that happen. You're going to have to sign some paperwork, right? The first thing that happens, though, is they check you out and determine if you're worthy, right? You have to jump through a lot of hoops. They want to see where you work. They want to see your credit report. They want to see if you have any income, right? They want to see if you have any money in the bank, right? I mean, they want to know all of this stuff. They want to know how you pay your bills. So they check you out first. And if you check out, then they check out the real estate. They do a title report on the real estate. They have an appraisal done. There might be some inspections done in addition to that. And then they make a determination, okay, you check out, the real estate checks out. So then they're going to have you sign a stack of papers in order to get some money, in order to get a mortgage, I should say. But in that stack of paper, the two most important documents are what I'm going to show you right now. The first document that they're going to have you sign is called a promissory note. And that's when I say that we buy mortgage notes. This is what I'm talking about. We invest in mortgage notes. So what is a promissory note? A promissory note, very simply, it's an IOU. It's an IOU. Now, we all know what an IOU is. If you loan money to your sister, your brother, your mother, your father, your cousin, if you had them sign the back of a business card to say, I owe you some money, that's an IOU, right? A promissory note is a written IOU. And so the banks are going to have you sign one. They call it a promissory note. That's part of what they're going to have you sign. The other thing they're going to have you sign is a mortgage. And what is a mortgage? A mortgage is a document that you sign, which basically says, I'm going to give you my real estate that I'm buying as collateral. Now, collateral means something that you can take away from the borrower if they don't pay you back. Okay? So, for example, if you want to loan your brother some money, you say, give me the keys to your car, right? And I'll lend you some money. I'll hold your car until you pay me back. That car is your collateral. So banks, if you're going to borrow money from them, they typically want collateral, some type of collateral. And I'm going to share with you guys some other examples of that in just a minute. I want to recognize that Patrick came on. Patrick, thank you so much for sharing this. I do appreciate it. Those of you that are on here, if you don't mind sharing this and liking this on your Facebook page, push it out there. I'm about to drill down a little bit deeper into what notes are and how it all works. This show is called Note Investing for Newbies. And so, you just want to invite people to watch this that want to look at another place to put their money. Maybe they got their money in the stock market or into some rental house or something like that, okay? I think this is a better option, and you're going to agree with me, I hope, after today's presentation. Look, notes may seem a little bit overwhelming, but the next few minutes, I'm going to show you that you don't need to be afraid of notes, okay? Because I'm going to show you that we all trade notes every single day. If you've ever given anybody a check, you just gave them a note. If you've ever accepted a check from someone, you just accepted a note. As a matter of fact, when you go and you get paid by your job, right, on your job, and they give you a check, that check obviously is not money. It is a promise of money. And what makes that check good is what? Your belief in the character of the company, because your employer wrote the check, you have to assume they have the money. And the other thing that makes that check good is that there's money in the bank account. Okay? If there's no money in the bank account, then that note is pretty much worthless, right? And so that's what you need to understand. So maybe your paycheck doesn't have collateral, but you're taking it on faith. But a check is a note. All right? How about this? Have you ever purchased a new car and they have you sign a whole bunch of paperwork? The paperwork that you sign, within that paperwork, one of those things at least is a promise to pay. It's where you sign and say, hey, I owe you money and I'm going to pay you, $500 a month for the next 60 months or whatever it happens to be. That is a note. And notes get traded every day. So you see, in this particular case, on a car loan, you're already doing a note deal. It's just you're on the wrong side of the deal, in my opinion. Okay? You're borrowing the money when you should be the lender. And that's what note investors do. Note investors, we collect the interest. We don't pay the interest. Okay? But nonetheless, you've done a note deal. Well, even if you've never had a check or given a check, never even had a checking account, or never had a car loan. If you've ever held a dollar bill in your hand and given it to someone, you just did a note deal. As a matter of fact, if you look at the money in your pocket right now, on the top of the dollar bill, it's going to say right there, Federal Reserve what? Note. Okay? And why does it say Federal Reserve Note? Because the truth is, it's just a piece of paper, just like a check, but it's redeemable for value, and it has the full faith and credit of the United States government behind it, and that's where the value comes in. But it's a note. The collateral for this note is the full faith and credit of the United States government. If the United States government's credit ever loses its luster, this note will be as worthless as a check written on a closed bank account. Okay, and that's what happens when countries experience a lot of inflation. That's a little bit of a side note, but that's what this is. So you've done a note deal. Okay, keep that in mind. You've done a note deal. So don't be intimidated by it when we say a note deal. All we're saying is that you're buying someone's mortgage, their mortgage payments that they make to their bank. You're buying those payments. So if they have 20 years left to pay, you're going to buy the next 20 years worth of payments. And if they don't pay you, then you get to take something as collateral, which in most cases is going to be the house, right? Because when banks loan money on real estate, they always want collateral, don't they? They have you sign a mortgage. Not only do they have you sign the promissory note, that's the IOU, but they also have you sign a mortgage. The mortgage says, if you don't pay me back, I'm going to take your house. Or at least I have a right to take your house. And guess what? Sometimes we have to do that. I started a foreclosure action on a house today in Georgia. The people were just not working with me. And what are you going to do? If they don't want to pay the mortgage payment, they can't live there for free. I own the mortgage. I purchased it from the lender. And so I'm going to have to apparently foreclose on these people just to collect. But it's easy. That's the thing that I want you guys to know. For me, you know how easy it was to foreclose, to start the foreclosure? I called the lawyer in Georgia and said, okay, let's go and take that property back. Here's the address. I'll send my lawyer a check, usually $2,000 or $3,000. That's it. They'll call me when the house is mine. When the house is mine, I'm going to call a real estate agent, which I've already got a real estate agent over there. I'm going to call a real estate agent and say, sell it for me, please. That particular house will sell for about $130,000. I know I paid less than $50,000 for that mortgage, somewhere around there. And so I'll sell it for $130,000. And I will have made, $80,000 in profit on that particular note. Now, think about that for a minute. Think about that. I hardly have any money invested in it, and I have an opportunity to more than double or almost triple my money on that particular investment. I can sleep well because either they're going to pay me every month, and I'm going to get really good interest every month because they pay me, or if they don't pay me, I get the house. That's the beauty of it. Now, think about this. What about the stock market? I know that some of you watching this today have money in the stock market or mutual funds or some other type of investment, right? That has no collateral. Think about that. If the stock market crashes and you've got your retirement account in the market, then you're going to lose value in your retirement account. You could lose a lot of value. You could, in theory, lose it. Actually, in practice, you could lose it all, I guess. Most people don't lose it all. Most people get their money out before it's all gone. But my point is, why? Why even deal with that? When you can buy yourself a note and you can use your retirement account to do that, by the way, just in case you didn't know that, you can buy it with your retirement account without paying the taxes or anything like that, because you're not going to withdraw it from your retirement account. You're just going to roll it over from stocks into mortgage notes. Just going to do a rollover. And then you'll have collateral. And you'll know that either you're going to get paid every month or you're going to get the real estate. Either way, it's a win for you. And that's why I'm saying, get your money out of the markets, guys. I know the stock market is doing really well right now at the time of the shooting of this particular video here and having this particular show, but that could change tomorrow, right? I mean, we know how the stock market goes. That could change tomorrow, and it could start diving down like a plane falling out of the sky. But let me ask you this. Even if that did happen, people will still pay their mortgage because they still have to have a house. They still have to have a roof over their heads, right? And if they don't pay their mortgage, then you get the house. And you can put somebody else in the house if you want to. You can rent it out, or you can sell it, or you can move into it. I mean, you own it, right? That's the beauty of mortgage note investing. You know what, Note Starter? You're totally right. That is awesome. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic thing that we're involved with. Look, for those of you that want to know more about how this stuff works, get over to my website. My website is easy to remember, investbrilliantly.com. Okay. And when you get over there at investbrilliantly.com, you can book an appointment with me, or if you don't want to talk to me, that's fine. Spend some time on the website. Look, we got a note vault here. If you want to see some notes or even some REOs, that stands for real estate that maybe we foreclose upon. You want to see what we got for sale, just check it out in the vault. You want to see how to use your IRA to invest in notes? I have a page on my website where we talk about how to use your retirement account to invest in notes, right? I've got videos on there, all kinds of stuff you can see about us. If you want to know about my coaching program, where I will hold your hand and help you invest in notes, even if you don't have any money, because it's really not about how much money you have. It's about how much smarts you have, how much drive you have. If you've got the drive and the smarts, I'll show you how to make money with notes. Okay. I'll show you how to become wealthy with notes in 4 years if you follow my plan. But you have to just Go there, check out my coaching program. Okay. You'll figure it out, guys. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. Let me just get back to my presentation, finish this up, and let's move on. So stocks, get your money out of the stock market. If you got money there, get it out. I think we're at a high end on the market. I think we're at a high end on the real estate values too. So one of the things about buying notes is you don't have nearly as much invested in the note as the real estate is worth. As I mentioned, I have a little house there in Georgia that I have the mortgage on. The house is worth $130,000. I got 50 in it, right? Even if I had 80 in it, I'm still in great shape, right? If it's worth 130, you see. So I don't care if the market. Well, I care if the market crashes, the housing market crashes. Of course, I care, but I'm still safe. My retirement is still safe. My money is still safe. That's the point. So when you're investing in notes, there's two broad categories of notes. One is called performing notes. That means that people are making their payments every month, which is fine. Because if they're making their payments every month, then I'm collecting interest every month. And when you're the lender, interest is profit. That means I'm making profit every single month. Okay? The other is called non-performing notes. Now, what is a non-performing note? Duh, it's where people aren't making their payments. And why would I want to buy a mortgage where people aren't making their payments? Well, because I can get it cheaper, and I know enough about how to work in the mortgage note space to actually make a profit on a mortgage where people aren't making their payments. I know that sounds strange, but there are ways to profit on a mortgage where people are not making their payments. As a matter of fact, there's ways to make really big profits on mortgages where people are not making their payments. And guys, all I want to tell you is that it just takes knowledge. You need knowledge. It's good to have a mentor, someone to hold your hand who's been there, done that. That's why I started coaching people. I had enough people over the years ask me to coach that I thought, well, what the heck? Why not? So I started coaching people. And I'm happy to coach you too if you want to know. What types of collaterals do we get? Can we buy mortgages on? All types of stuff. Houses, right? Of course, houses. That's the first thing you think of. Condos, townhomes, mortgages on apartment buildings. You never even think about that, right? But apartment buildings, people don't pay cash for apartment buildings. They finance them. Those mortgages get sold. You can own the mortgage on an apartment building. You can own the mortgage on an office building, a shopping center, a golf course, a gas station, a farm, anything that people borrow money and pledge to real estate as collateral for, you can own the mortgage on that stuff. We have small mortgages. I see mortgages as small as like $25,000. First position mortgages. You may not know what that means, but that's good, okay? And I see $1 million mortgages, multi-million dollar mortgages. Where do you want to play? But I can tell you this, wherever it is, you're going to do far better than you're going to do in the stock market, and you're going to sleep well because you're going to have collateral that is far more valuable than the money that you invest. That's the secret to not losing money in your investments. Make sure you got something that you can take that's more valuable than the money that you have deployed. Now, banks sell their mortgages every single day. They sell them on something called the secondary mortgage market. They call them a transfer. And as I said at the beginning of today's show, you probably had a mortgage. If you're a homeowner, you probably had your mortgage transferred from one lender to another. They call it a transfer. I'm telling you what's happening is your mortgage has been sold to a new lender. And that new lender now is going to collect all the interest that you owe on that mortgage moving forward. And if you don't pay, the new lender has the same rights the old lender had, and that is to take your property. So that's it, guys. Get over to my website, investbrilliantly.com. Check it out. And when you're there, I want you to just remember this. You don't need money to get started because it's not about how much money you have. It's about how smart you are in the space. It's about what you got here. That's what matters. It's what you got here. I teach you how to build a note portfolio for yourself that's valued at $1 million, and that will generate more than $60,000 to $70,000 a year for you for life if you want to stop. And I show you how to do that in 4 years. if you want to stop. You don't have to stop after 4 years. You can keep going and build a $2 million or $5 million note portfolio. The process is the same. You just have to have the skill set. And that's what I teach you. And that's why I said, get over to investbrilliantly.com, check out my website, check out my coaching, get yourself started. You won't find very many people that'll teach you this stuff without charging you $25,000 or $30,000 to teach it to you. I charge $97 a month. Learn it as fast as you want. You have access to me. You have access to my online training. You have access to my staff. You have it. You have access. Okay. I'm not trying to use my training and coaching to make me rich. All I want to do is make sure that I can spread the word to the people that want to learn this stuff. And I use my training and coaching to spread the word. I'm rich from investing in mortgage notes, and I'm going to get even richer from investing in mortgage notes, just like you will if you'll embrace this, okay? And you'll never have to worry about money again. Just think about living that kind of life where you just don't have to worry about money. It's just not an issue, ever. Okay? All right, guys. Look, I want to thank you all so much for coming on here today. Again, as I said, before you hang up or before we disconnect, do me a favor, like, share, comment. Okay? Like, share, comment. I got a question here that I will answer. Inzu asks, why would someone sell a note? Well, there are reasons that banks sell their notes because they want to keep their money circulating. But I sell notes because that's my business model, right? I buy notes. And here's what I do, Inzu. I buy notes by I like to see it this way. I buy them by the case and I sell them by the bottle. So I go in and I'll buy a dozen notes, let's just say, from a bank or a hedge fund. And then I'll take them off and sell them one at a time. That's our business model. Okay. And I also buy them for my own portfolio when I have the cash available and I buy a dozen notes. I'll keep one or two for myself. I'll just buy them from my own company and add them into my retirement account and my portfolio. But people companies sell notes because they want to do something else with the money, whatever it is. Maybe they want to invest in a different note, or maybe they want to take it and put it into a different investment altogether. I never know. But yeah, notes get sold all the time. All the time. As a matter of fact, here's an interesting thing. More notes are sold every day than real estate, houses and apartment buildings combined. Probably 3 or 4 times more notes than actual brick and mortar are sold every single day. This is a much bigger market, a much bigger opportunity, and there are far fewer people that invest in notes than invest in real estate. Everybody's investing in real estate. That's why it's so difficult to become wealthy in real estate these days, because everybody out there is trying to invest in real estate. It's not that hard to become wealthy in notes in just 3 or 4 years because hardly anybody's doing it. It's wide open. It's not going to be that way forever, but it's wide open right now. And if you're not taking advantage of it, you're just going to be looking back one day and saying, man, what was I thinking? Okay? You don't want to be that person saying, what was I thinking? Telling your grandkids and your great-grandkids, boy, if I had an opportunity to really do something. Nope, but I didn't do it. So come on with me. Let's get on out here. Let's go to work. Okay? So guys, you don't have to live that life anymore. Okay? The next live session. Good question, Inzu. When's my next live session? Well, you can have a live session with me anytime. Just go to my website, investbrilliantly.com, and we can have a conversation. But every Monday at 4 o'clock Pacific, I do this show. Okay? Every Monday at 4 o'clock Pacific. So you guys, I want to thank you all for coming on here. God bless you all. Have a great rest of your day. And hopefully I'll see you guys signing up so that I can start teaching you and mentoring you into the note space. It'll change your life.